Good morning, everyone. Hi, John. Great to have you here again. And our famous kissing gate is done.
It is. It's
the divider between our English meadow. We want to talk about all that English meadow. Then the divider into our big mammoth tree alley. So tell us, what was your thought behind all of that?
Well, I wanted to get this sort of rather lovely, very old-looking fencing, and it's called cleft, because the idea is that you split it down the grain.
Yeah.
And you can see here that it's been split down the grain so that it can last.
Yeah.
If you machine it, and it's beautifully square and looking all very neat and tidy, first of all, it's boring, and secondly, it doesn't last that long.
So that's why you have this really nice kind of old-fashioned, rustic kind of look, right?
Absolutely. It's split and follows the grain.
Yes.
And you can see that the tree that it came from is not very big. And that's because it's coppiced.
Okay, so what is that?
What it means is it's sustainable forestry. So you cut off the larger pieces and you split them down the grain like this, and the tree will continue to grow.
Oh, that's cool. And what kind of tree is it?
This is a sweet chestnut.
Okay.
The Romans brought it to England about, when they were about the place. And then we've used it as a fencing in England sort of more or less ever since. And about 250 years ago, we established the first coppiced plantings in Kent, and they're still productive.
Okay, so one can most probably assume this is the only original English kissing gate fence in Europe, most probably.
Well, no, I think not quite.
Not quite?
Certainly there aren't many in Germany, that's
okay.
for sure.
Yeah, so okay, but in Germany. Good, great. So, and this is kind of like very, if you look at these holes here, so there's no nails, there is no screws, nothing.
No.
It's just, pushed into this stem.
And interestingly enough, the bottom of these posts are cut flat, rather than being cut like that, to prevent, or to stop them from rotting.
Okay, so big question now, why is it called a kissing fence? What does it have to do with kissing?
I will explain what a kissing gate is. You have to assume there are lots of sort of cows and horses and people running around in the field. You want to get in and you want to get out.
Okay, yes.
So what you do is you get out by doing that without the animals being able to follow you.
Okay.
And you simply close the gate after you.
Okay. And who got a kiss now?
Well, you see, if you go back to Shakespeare's time, when you were there and I was here, then you got a kiss.
In Shakespeare's times.
Yeah, the whole idea of kissing gates is a sort of, go for a walk in the countryside, and then you can, with a bit of luck, get your first kiss, you see.
Okay.
So that was a tradition of giving a kiss over the gate.
Okay, that's nice. That's really sweet.
But it's a super device because you can get in and out, as I say, and...
Oops. Poor little cat got...
Nothing comes after you.
Okay, so does that also... We want to have sheep here on our English meadow in the future. Does that also work for the sheep?
Yep, perfectly.
Yeah?
Perfectly.
Okay.
Because it's just so easy to get in and out without them following you.
That's great. So tell us a little more about the English meadow if you come back in. So we've got this tunnel here after the fence, after the gate.
Well, the idea here after the gate is that you have a sunken lane.
Yes.
So... and we had fun doing this because I was trying to explain to the digger driver what we wanted to do here, and eventually I said half pipe.
Okay.
And so that's basically what we got here is a half pipe like that.
So it was a young lad, I suppose.
Yes, exactly. But a brilliant one, Fabian, absolutely marvellous driver. And then we've got above it a mirror image so that And this is going to grow as trees,
Yes.
but we're going to keep the internal branches. So it looks like one of those lanes where the branches hang over and are sort of...
What kind of trees are these?
These are beech.
Beech trees.
Yeah, and they lend themselves to this sort of thing, and they're quite shallow rooted, so they don't actually mind being in a bank.
Yeah.
And then the eye goes out, and as you know, we have all sorts of plans for down there.
Yeah. So you've got...
But we had, when we originally had the concept of doing something here, we did a sort of capability brown style plantings, 3 of them of oak trees, which we hope will over the years grow up together and form a copse rather than being individual trees.
So, and Capability Brown was one of the early garden designers in England.
Oh,
he
yes.
lived around 1700 something, and he was called, that was actually his nickname, Capability Brown.
It was his nickname because he would look at something and say, oh yes, he'd say, it's got capabilities.
Okay.
And so they called him Capability Brown.
Yeah.
And he was very capable, actually, and had a superb understanding of what the client wanted.
Yeah. And so what was his concept, re gardens at the time?
They wanted to recreate nature, and it was the Romantic movement. They wanted to get away from all these wonderfully straight lines and formality of French and Italian gardens, and they wanted to create romance in the landscape. And to this day, it's lovely. It's rather like a stylized painting, but very beautiful. And so we've done that here to an extent.
So this means in the future we're going to have our sheep here, but also our visitors can come through the kissing gate and sort of have really fun here in this natural kind of garden setting with the trees, which will give shade in the summer. They can sit under the trees with the sheep, share their picnic with the sheep, something like that. Is that our vision?
Yes, I think so. I mean, a lot of people actually don't have the opportunity to get sort of close and friendly with sheep, and they might find them sort of...
And even if there are no sheep, it's going to be a really nice experience to have that wonderful landscape here, especially when, the groups of oak trees are even bigger.
Yes, quite. As they mature, they will have... they will give depth to the landscape, which is the idea.
And looking up here from the other side, if you look down from the mammoth tree alley, you have this wonderful full feel actually of a very kind of like original rustic kind of natural fence. So is that something that's gonna last? Is that or does it need maintenance? Does it need paint? Does it need anything?
It needs absolutely nothing at all, and it will last between 20 and 25 years, depending very largely on the summer. If it gets very, very hot, the wood can dry out. But I mean, we're talking about 20 years plus here, so it's a great investment. The only problem is people climbing on it.
Yeah, so you shouldn't climb on it.
No, I think you should respect the craftsmanship and ingenuity that's gone into creating it. Certainly the fencing itself, completely without any screws or fitments.
Yeah. So wonderful, John, to have given us this very special and unique feature here in our gardens. And if you have questions, just put them down in the box down there, so we can get back to you. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, just subscribe down here. And thank you very much, John. Till next time.
Indeed. Bye-bye.
Bye.